Welcome to the reading of the book of James. Introduction to the book of James. The letter that we now read as the book of James was written by James the Apostle between AD 45 and AD 50. The book of James, that of 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and that of Jude were called by the early church the general, universal, or Catholic epistles because their addresses, with the exception of 2nd and 3rd John, were not limited to a single locality. James, for example, is addressed to the 12 tribes in the dissipation according to James 1 verse 1, which is a designation for believers everywhere, likely all Jewish Christians at that early date. Of the 4 men bearing the name James in the New Testament, only 2 have been proposed as the author of this letter. That is, James the son of Zebedee, who is also the brother of John, and James the half-brother of Jesus. It is, however, unlikely that the son of Zebedee was the author, for he was martyred in AD 44 according to Acts chapter 12 verse 2. The authoritative tone of the letter not only rules out the 2 lesser known Jameses of the New Testament, that is James the younger and the James of Luke 6 verse 16, but points to the half-brother of Jesus who became the recognized leader of the Jerusalem church according to Acts chapter 12 verse 17, Acts 15 verse 13, and Acts 21 verse 18. This conclusion is supported by the resemblance in the Greek between the epistle and the speech of James at the Council of Jerusalem, according to James chapter 1 verse 1 and Acts chapter 15 verse 23, James chapter 1 verse 27 and Acts chapter 15 verse 14, James chapter 2 verse 5 and Acts chapter 15 verse 13. The dating of the book of James. Some, denying the authorship by James because of the excellent Greek used, place the writing of the book at the very end of the 1st century. However, Galileans knew and used Greek well, along with Aramaic and Hebrew. Further, an early date is indicated by the lack of reference to the Jerusalem Council of AD 49, by the use of the word assembly to designate synagogue for the church in James chapter 2 verse 2, and by the strong expectation of the Lord's soon return in James chapter 5 verses 7 to 9. The canonicity of the book of James. The canonical status of the letter was questioned until the church realized that its author was almost surely the half-brother of Jesus. Luther did not question the genuineness of James, only its usefulness in comparison with Paul's epistles, because it says little about justification by faith while emphasizing works. The contents of the book of James. The book is concerned with the practical aspects of Christian conduct. It tells how faith works in everyday life. James' purpose was to provide concrete ethical instruction. Compared to Paul, James shows much less interest in formal theology, though the letter is not without theological statements. See the following verses. James chapter 1 verse 12, James chapter 2 verse 1, verses 10 to 12, verse 19, and James chapter 3 verse 9, James chapter 5 verses 7 to 9, verse 12, and verse 14. Many subjects are discussed in this book, making it like a series of brief sayings arranged in the form of a letter. While there is little formal structure to the book, its many instructions explain how to be doers of the word, according to James chapter 1 verse 22. In the 108 verses of the epistle, there are references or allusions from 22 books of the Old Testament and at least 15 allusions to the teachings of Christ as embodied in the Sermon on the Mount. Among the key subjects discussed are faith and works. James chapter 2 verses 14 to 26. The use of the tongue. James chapter 3 verses 1 to 12. And prayer for the sick. James chapter 5 verses 13 to 16. The outline of the book of James. 1. Greeting. James chapter 1 verse 1. 2. Trials. James chapter 1 verses 2 to 18. 2a. The purpose of trials. James chapter 1 verses 2 to 12. 2b. The pedigree of trials. James chapter 1 verses 13 to 15. 2c. The purpose of God. James chapter 1 verses 16 to 18. 3. The Word. James chapter 1 verses 19 to 27. 4. Partiality. James chapter 2 verses 1 to 13. 4a. The command. James chapter 2 verse 1. 4b. The conduct. James chapter 2 verses 2 to 3. 4c. The consequences. James chapter 2 verses 4 to 13. 5. Faith and works. James chapter 2 verses 14 to 26. 5a. The inquiry. James chapter 2 verse 14. 5b. The illustration. James chapter 2 verses 15 to 17. 5c. The indoctrination. James chapter 2 verses 18 to 26. 6. Sins of the tongue. James chapter 3 verses 1 to 12. 6a. Its bridling. James chapter 3 verses 1 to 4. 6b. Its boasting. James chapter 3 verses 5 to 12. 7. True wisdom. James chapter 3 verses 13 to 18. 8. Worldliness. James chapter 4 verses 1 to 17. 8a. Its cause. James chapter 4 verses 1 to 2. 8b. Its consequences. James chapter 4 verses 3 to 6. 8c. Its cure. James chapter 4 verses 7 to 10. 8d. Its characteristics. James chapter 4 verses 11 to 17. 9. Riches, patience, and swearing. James chapter 5 verses 1 to 12. 10. Prayer. James chapter 5 verses 13 to 18. And finally 11. The conversion of the erring. James chapter 5 verses 19 to 20. The end of the reading of the introduction to the book of James.